The story presented is a compelling first-person narrative titled implicitly as a tale of a mother's awakening from years of financial exploitation by her adult son and daughter-in-law. Narrated by Georgia, a 68-year-old widow, it chronicles her transformation from a passive enabler to an empowered individual who reclaims her dignity and financial autonomy. The plot unfolds over a short period, beginning with a humiliating incident at home, escalating through confrontations, and resolving with tentative steps toward reconciliation. Spanning themes of familial ingratitude, elder financial abuse, personal growth, and the complexities of mother-child relationships, this story resonates as a cautionary tale wrapped in emotional drama. At its core, the narrative is structured like a modern fable or a viral Reddit post, e.g., from subreddits like r/amithasshole or r/relationships, but it ends with a YouTube-style call to action, encouraging super thanks, comments, likes, and subscriptions. This suggests it's crafted for online consumption, perhaps as a scripted Storytime video or a blog post aimed at engaging audiences interested in life lessons, family drama, and personal finance advice. The language is conversational, with vivid emotional descriptions that draw readers in, making it feel authentic despite its fictional elements. In this 5,000-word review and analysis, word count will be approximated and aimed for precision. I'll dissect the story layer by layer, starting with a plot summary, followed by character breakdowns, thematic exploration, structural analysis, psychological and sociological insights, comparisons to real-world phenomena and literature, narrative techniques, potential criticisms, and a personal reflection on what one might do in George's shoes. My goal is to provide a comprehensive critique that highlights the story's strengths in evoking empathy and delivering moral insights, while also examining its shortcomings in realism and depth. Plot summary: a chronological breakdown. The story opens with a hook. George's son, Ryan, calls in panic because his credit cards, linked to her accounts, are declined during a lunch with his mother-in-law. This sets a tone of schadenfreude, as Georgia admits to feeling satisfaction at his humiliation. Flashbacks reveal the backstory. Widowed and retired, Georgia has been financially supporting Ryan and his wife, Dana, for a decade. Examples include paying rent during Ryan's unemployment, $800 per month for 8 months, funding wardrobe refreshes, $3,000, vacations, $5,000, and even a car down payment, $15,000. Despite this, she's excluded from their lives, never invited on trips or to fancy dinners she funds. The inciting incident occurs the evening before. While serving coffee to Dana and her friends, Georgia overhears Dana mock her as only good for paying our bills, with Ryan laughing along. This cold rage prompts Georgia to act decisively at 3 a.m., canceling supplementary cards, closing shared accounts, changing passwords, and halting automatic transfers. The next morning, Ryan's desperate call from the upscale Crestview Grill amplifies the irony. He's humiliated at a restaurant Georgia has funded but never visited. Confrontations escalate. Ryan begs over the phone, but Georgia stands firm, recounting years of exploitation. Later, Ryan and Dana bang on her door, alternating between aggression, manipulation, and feigned remorse. Georgia remains resolute, even closing the curtain on Dana's face. External pressures mount, calls from Dana's mother, Claudia, George's sister, Elaine, and even a cousin, questioning her sanity and urging reconciliation. Claudia threatens legal action to declare Georgia incompetent. Georgia takes proactive steps, calculating her losses, $86,000 over 5 years, revising her will, dividing assets among Charity, her sister, and a conditional 20% for Ryan, enhancing bank security, and undergoing a psychological evaluation for protection. Amid this, neighbor Lucy offers support, validating George's observations. A turning point comes during separate talks. Ryan admits dependency, and Dana confesses their spending doubles income. They begin reforms, budgeting, downsizing apartments, canceling luxuries, and Dana taking extra work. Georgia embarks on a cruise with Lucy, symbolizing self-care. Upon return, Ryan visits not for money but connection, proposing a family lunch. The story ends optimistically. Georgia adjusts her will to reward sustained independence, reflecting on hope, dignity, and self-worth. This plot arc follows a classic redemption structure: setup, exploitation, conflict, cutoff and backlash, climax, threats and realizations, falling action, changes, and resolution, healing. It's paced dynamically, with short scenes building tension through dialogue and internal monologue, character analysis, depth, motivations, and development. Georgia, the protagonist/narrator as the story's voice. Georgia evolves from a self-described fool to a symbol of empowerment. Initially, she's the archetypal enabling mother, widowed, lonely, and conditioned by societal norms to prioritize family. Her motivations stem from love and guilt. She equates financial support with maternal duty, denying red flags like exclusion from vacations. The humiliation catalyzes her clarity, transforming trembling hands from sadness to rage. Her actions, methodical account closures at 3 a.m., show calculated resolve, not impulsivity. Georgia's development is the story's strength. By the end, she prioritizes self-care, cruise, lunch splurges, and sets boundaries without malice. Quotes like "I'm your mother, not your personal bank" encapsulate her awakening. However, her narration occasionally veers into self-righteousness, potentially alienating readers who see enabling as complicit. Psychologically, she embodies codependency recovery, learning that love doesn't require martyrdom. Ryan, the son Ryan, starts as the entitled antagonist, 35, employed, yet reliant on Georgia. His laughter at Dana's joke reveals ingratitude, and his pleas focus on image, people are staring, over remorse. Motivations: avoidance of adult responsibility. Influenced by Dana and societal pressures to keep up appearances. His development arcs toward maturity, admitting anxiety from dependency, securing loans, and downsizing. By the end, he seeks a normal relationship, showing growth. Yet, his change feels abrupt. Real-life entitlement often resists quick reform. Dana, the daughter-in-law Dana, is the story's villainous, manipulative, materialistic, and unapologetic initially. Her syrupy voice for requests and mockery, "that old woman," paint her as opportunistic. Motivations: social climbing, using Georgia to fund a facade of wealth. Her strategies shift from aggression, banging doors, to sweetness, apologies, then threats via Claudia. Development: in the coffee meeting, she admits overspending and initiates changes, part-time job. This humanizes her, suggesting insecurity drives her behavior. However, her arc risks stereotype, the gold-digging wife, lacking nuance. Supporting characters: Claudia, Dana's mother, represents generational enabling. Her threats highlight how abuse perpetuates. She's polite but firm, embodying hypocrisy, criticizing Georgia while rescuing them financially. Elaine, Georgia's sister, a voice of normalcy, urging forgiveness. She mirrors societal pressure on elders to maintain peace. Lucy, neighbor, the wise ally, validating Georgia and encouraging self-care. Her role adds community support, contrasting family toxicity. Others, e.g., lawyer, doctor, functional figures, reinforcing Georgia's competence, symbolizing institutional safeguards. Overall, characters drive the emotional core, with Georgia's arc being most compelling. Development feels earned through incremental realizations, though antagonists' quick redemptions may strain believability. Thematic exploration, core messages and symbolism. The story weaves multiple themes, making it a rich text for analysis. Financial abuse in families. Central is elder financial exploitation, a real issue affecting millions, e.g., U.S. estimates suggest $36.5 billion annually lost to family scams. Georgia's $86,000 loss symbolizes how love masks abuse. Symbolism abounds: credit cards as lifelines severed, the restaurant as a stage for reversed humiliation, and the oak door, installed by her late husband, as a barrier to intrusion. Empowerment and setting boundaries. Georgia's journey echoes self-help narratives like Boundaries by Henry Cloud. Her no is liberating, teaching that generosity without reciprocity breeds resentment. The cruise symbolizes rebirth, ocean views she funded for others now claimed for herself, family dynamics and ingratitude. It critiques sandwich generation pressures but flips it, elders squeezed by adult children. Ryan's expectations highlight entitlement in millennial/Gen Z cohorts, influenced by economic inequality. The story argues true love involves teaching independence, not perpetual support, redemption, and forgiveness. Optimistic, it suggests change is possible. Ryan's tears and Dana's budget symbolize humility. However, conditions in George's will add realism, forgiveness earned, not granted. Societal commentary subtly critiques consumerism, streaming as necessity, and social media's role in image obsession. Gender dynamics emerge. Women, Georgia, Dana, Claudia, navigate emotional labor, while Ryan learns accountability. Symbolism enhances themes. Coffee pots, service/humiliation, trembling hands, rage/empowerment shift, stars/patio, peace/clarity. The narrative warns against martyrdom, promoting self-worth, structural and narrative techniques, crafting engagement. Structurally, the story employs a non-linear timeline, starting in medias res with Ryan's call, flashing back to build context, then progressing chronologically. This creates suspense. Readers anticipate confrontations while understanding stakes. Narrative voice is first-person, intimate, fostering empathy. Internal monologues, the irony was delicious, reveal George's emotions, blending bitterness with triumph. Dialogue drives conflict. Ryan's hysteria contrasts George's calm, highlighting power shifts. Pacing is brisk, with short paragraphs mimicking oral storytelling, YouTube-friendly. Repetition, for the first time in years, emphasizes transformation. Cliffhangers, door-banging, threats, maintain tension. Techniques include irony, funded restaurant humiliation, foreshadowing, Dana's syrupy voice hints manipulation, and sensory details, phone ringing, birds on feeder, for immersion. As a digital story, the ending's CTA, super thanks, comments, blurs fiction/reality, inviting interaction, perhaps to gauge relatability. Criticisms, pacing rushes resolution, real change takes longer. Some dialogue feels scripted, lacking subtlety, psychological insights, enabling dependency and recovery. Psychologically, the story aligns with codependency theory. Melody Beattie. George's enabling stems from loss, widowhood, and fear of abandonment, creating a cycle. She gives to feel needed, they take to avoid responsibility. Ryan/Dana exhibit learned helplessness. Martin Seligman. Relying on Georgia instead of self-efficacy. Humiliation acts as tough love, forcing cognitive dissonance, realizing dependency's toxicity. George's rage to clarity shift mirrors Kubler-Ross grief stages. Denial, years of giving, anger, humiliation, bargaining, confrontations, depression, reflections, acceptance, cruise/will changes. Sociologically, it reflects boomerang kids phenomenon, adult children returning to parental support amid economic pressures, housing costs, wages. Yet, it critiques this as enabling entitlement, not necessity. Real-world parallels. AARP reports 1 in 5 elders face family financial abuse. Stories like this echo forums like r/raised by narcissists, where boundaries heal toxic dynamics. Sociological and cultural context. Broader implications. Culturally, the story challenges family-first norms, especially in Western individualism versus collectivist cultures where elder support is reciprocal. In the U.S., it highlights aging population vulnerabilities amid rising inequality. Gender roles. George's martyrdom reflects superwoman expectations for mothers. Dana's arc critiques performative femininity, social climbing via appearances. Economic commentary. Overspending symbolizes consumer culture's pitfalls, credit debt. Lifestyle inflation. George's pension contrasts Ryan's $3,500 per month, underscoring generational wealth gaps. Comparisons. Similar to The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, selfless giving leads to depletion, but with empowerment. Or King Lear, ingratitude from children. Modern analogs. Netflix's I Care a Lot on elder exploitation. The CTA suggests monetization of trauma narratives, a trend in content creation, profiting from relatable pain. Criticisms and potential improvements. Strengths. Emotional resonance, relatable themes, uplifting end. It empowers readers facing similar issues. Weaknesses: black and white characters, Dana as villain softens too quickly. Realism, $86. 000 loss without earlier intervention strains credulity. Legal aspects: incompetency threats, oversimplified, processes are complex, cultural bias, assumes nuclear family norms, in diverse contexts, support might be cultural duty, improvements, add nuance to antagonists' backstories, e.g., Ryan's job loss trauma. Extend timeline for believable change. Diversify perspectives, include Ryan's narration. Personal reflection: what would I do in George's shoes? In George's position, I'd prioritize self-preservation while allowing redemption. First, document everything: expenses, conversations, for legal protection. I'd cut off support gradually, giving notice to foster responsibility, but the humiliation justifies abruptness here. I'd seek therapy for processing resentment and community support like Lucy's. Revising the will conditionally is wise, rewards growth without enabling. Ultimately, I'd aim for reconciliation on equal terms, as Georgia does. But if threats persisted, no contact might be necessary. This story reminds us, love sets boundaries. Conclusion: lasting impact and recommendations. This story masterfully blends drama with life lessons, making it a standout in motivational fiction. Its exploration of abuse, empowerment, and redemption offers valuable insights, encouraging readers to examine their dynamics. For similar content, read The Millionaire Next Door for financial independence. Watch YouTube channels like Storytime with Reddit for parallels.